Good morning, everybody. If you're catching this right now, you're catching the replay. I'm just going to give it a minute here for everybody to join us. I didn't really advertise for today's video. Sorry. Hi, Lainey. I know. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot your treats. I don't have any here. I have to owe you. Yes, I have to owe you. Good morning. Hi, guys. Hi. All right, let me see what time it is. 10:31. Hi, Liz. You did. You caught me live. All right, guys. So, I found these trays a long time ago, and I had tons of them. They were in somebody's junk pile, and you can tell that they had painted them at some point in time. So I was like, I need to get rid of these. These have been sitting around, and I'm just getting sick of looking at them. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do a bulk load of them, take them up to a shop that I know, and hopefully get rid of them. So this is what I came up with. Look how stinking cute. So I did repaint these, and then I kind of sanded them down a little bit, and we Mod Podged some napkins on them. I did this one this morning, and it's still kind of damp. It's still drying. And I also did this one too. Look how pretty. I am not a colorful person, and when I did this one, because I was trying to match the flowers on here, I was like, I don't know, this is out of my comfort zone, we're going to try it. And it actually turned out to be the one I like the most so far. It's really, really pretty. So, we're using these old trays, and we're going to turn them in to this. This looks so pretty. But this is what they look like when I pick them out of somebody's trash. Kind of just dingy old metal trays. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with them. They're not broken. They're not cracked. Somebody painted them at some point. So I kind of wanted to refinish them. So look how pretty. Alright, so I had gone to the dollar store a long time ago. And I got some, let me put these back up here. Hopefully I don't knock them down. My display is not too sturdy today. There we go. Hopefully it works. Okay. There we go. Anyway, so I went through the Dollar Tree and I found some really pretty napkins like a year or two ago. And I've just been hoarding them because I use them for random things like this. This here's the one that I picked to do in the video today. I thought it was really, really pretty. Good morning. Hi, guys. We are making, we're rescuing some salvage trays that I pulled out of the trash like a couple years ago, and they've been sitting here, and I just need to do something with them. So we're turning them into, if you can see behind me, real pretty vintage trays. All right, guys. So this is the napkin I'm going to be using, and I didn't want to just keep, I mean, this color is pretty. That's already on here, but I kind of wanted to pull out more of the green. I like green, so we're gonna try green on this one. All right, guys. So what we need to do is paint this first. I am using chalk paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my napkin aside here, and my green colored chalk paint that I like is really old, and I had to mix it with water. Good morning, Mom. So hopefully it works for this. We're gonna find out. Alright, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of my paint here, and it is waterier, is that a word, than what chalk paint usually is, because it was completely dry. So this is the color here that I picked. Alright, it's going to match the napkin really well, the leaves. I think it'll look really pretty. So all I'm going to do, I might need to do 2 coats on this just because my paint is really old, and I had to really water it down to even get a use out of it. So we're gonna find out how this is gonna work. All right. So I'm gonna paint this whole tray. this color green. It's very pretty. Good morning. I did not have coffee this morning, so I'm not as bubbly. I'm very tired. This third trimester with this baby has been hitting me really hard. I've been exhausted lately. I just can't even keep my eyes open, and it's just funny. It's just weird how your body reacts and changes. Just crazy. I got home from work yesterday. It was an office day, and I'd gotten home early, and usually I get a whole bunch of stuff done. I get the house cleaned. You know, it's my day to kind of just get everything done, maybe start on projects, work on stuff. And I didn't get anything done. I fell asleep for like 3 hours. And then I slept again last night, so just exhausting. Hi guys, thank you for sharing. Good morning. So we are just turning these old trays that I found in somebody's trash into old, well, they are already old vintage trays, I guess, but we are turning them into old vintage trays. That makes sense. I'm making them look really cool. They already look pretty cool, but we're giving them a makeover. We don't want them all to look the same. So this is my first coat of green. Yes, my paint is really watery because I didn't think this through. I should have done this one for one of my little show-off ones back there, and I didn't. So we're doing this one in the video. Okay, so I'm just doing my first coat of green here, and then I do have my heat gun. I'm just going to dry it. So I'm just using chalk paint. Now, if you do paint something like this, I wouldn't really eat off of it. Anything that you actually paint. I wouldn't use it as an actual dish. Just as like a decor piece is fine. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this with my heat gun, and then we're going to do the second coat, okay? I love my heat gun. It's so quiet compared to my hair dryer. It's not like really quiet, but it's quieter. So this is going to match that really well, that napkin. I love it already. Get you guys down here a little bit. So pretty. I don't know why I'm so bright on here. Let me see if I can figure it out. Ooh, that's really dark. Alright, so that first coat, ooh, that gets hot. Don't forget this is metal, not wood. Alright, so that first coat is done. I'm going to go ahead and put my second one on here. That should cover most of it. I'm making a mess on my table already. Oop. Okay. Good morning. Hi. We're doing a flip project today. Again. My paint is not cooperating with me. Okay. So I don't want this perfect. I still want it to look vintage-like, so I don't need it to fully be coated. I am going to take my, what's it called? My sandpaper over top of it. So I haven't really been painting a lot because of the baby. You know, I don't want to use any harsh chemicals and stuff around her. Especially being closer to my due date and everything. So sneaking in a paint thing here today. Alright guys. So I just want to make sure that second coat kind of is just a little bit darker. So if you find these trays anywhere, pick them up. You know, if you can find them even at your grandparents' house. They have the old, my grandparents used to have the old like folding tray table things, and I loved those. Unfortunately they were ruined in a, they had a flood in their basement and they were ruined. So I always thought about like what I would do with those. This kind of reminds me of them because they had the little legs on the bottom of them that you opened up and you sat at the couch and you ate, and we use them all the time. Alright guys. Alright, so this side, the inside of this does not have to be perfect because that napkin is going to cover all that up. I'm just going to go around here, try to even this out a little bit better. My painting is not the best today because of my paint. Lovely paint. Okay. Which is fine. It's alright. We'll keep some cream in there. Alright guys, so I'm going to draw this again. Good morning. Hi guys. Almost dry. Hi Matt. And Marie family. Hi boys. Hi Jess. Hi pups. Alright guys, so I'm gonna watch because this is probably pretty warm. It is. Alright, so there's my green. Alright. I did kind of just, you know, it was a little bit waterier than what I usually like to work with, but it's gonna work fine for this. So this is gonna actually pull out the greens that are on the leaves, which is gonna look really pretty. Okay. So I'm going to now take my sandpaper, okay, and I'm just using 120 grit. We're just going to kind of take it around the edges here. I want some of that metal on this tray to show through. So I'm going to take this, and I want some of the cream to come out too because there's a lot of cream in this picture. Get some metal in there. Taking this the whole way around, and wherever it highlights is where it highlights. I'm not being particular. I'm not highlighting certain spots. I'm just taking it around, letting it kind of figure out where the high and low spots are, and it's going to highlight them. And I'm getting some of the tray in there too. It's going to look really pretty. So I'm going to continue to do that. No rhyme or reason. My poor room up here gets so dusty. I try to keep up on it, but it doesn't always work. Alright guys. So there's the outside of my tray. Seeing it a little bit more through that color here. There we go. Alright. Gonna wipe that down. I'm going to get my little cloth here. I'm not using a tack cloth. I usually do. I'm breaking my own rule. I always use a tack cloth, but I didn't get one out for my video. And I will eventually paint the back of the tray to match too. Just because, you know, if somebody does buy it, who wants to turn it over and see that? I wouldn't. So I will paint the back of it after the video here. Just wasted time to do it on the video. It's the same thing as what I did to the front. Alright guys. So, you got your border now, okay? It looks really old, kind of rusticy, okay? In the middle of this, you're not going to see, okay? So I didn't even worry about sanding that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my napkin. And I'm kind of going to just lay it out on the tray where I think it's going to look nice. Look how cute that's going to look. It's going to look really, really pretty. It's going to break up the cream, and then the black, it actually shows off the black really well. And then the leaves on the flowers, it actually breaks that up and shows that. It's so pretty. Okay, so like I said, this is just a napkin. These are Dollar Tree napkins. And they're my favorite, mixed with some Mod Podge, because you can put them on anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my napkin where I want it, which is, I lucked out. These kind of work out good with the shape of my tray. Look at that, they fit in there perfectly. I really lucked out with that. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this in half because I don't really want to use this side. I want to use the flower in the middle. I want to kind of make it look real basic. So I'm just going to cut my napkin. And these are pretty heavy duty napkins for the Dollar Tree. So way to go, Dollar Tree. Alright. So napkins always have the double sides. I forgot my tape. So let's see if I can peel it with my fingers. If not, I'll get up and get my tape. So when you're working with Mod Podging a napkin, you always want to tear off the other side. Alright, because it's almost like, there we go. Because if you glue this side down, if you would just do it like this, you're not really sticking the one piece that you want on there. You're actually just gluing down the plain side. And then you'll end up pulling it apart and then re-gluing. So take it apart, okay? Then it's kind of like tissue paper. I just throw this part away. And it's kind of like tissue paper. Alright, you can definitely see through. Just like that. There's your print. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and place this down on here. Make sure it looks okay. Kind of figure out where I want it to sit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, when I did my other two, this one here's a good one to show you. So when I did this one, I originally cut it out to fit exactly inside the tray. And the more I looked at it, I was like, it looks too perfect to be like a vintage looking piece. And I was like, well, I'm going to go around and see if I can kind of just tear up the edges of this napkin just to make it look more rustic and more vintage and more like it's been used for quite a while. And so that's what I did. I went around and I used my little X-Acto knife and I kind of just peeled away at the sides a little bit. So then it kind of looked like it was vintage. Like it's tore a little bit on this side and it's torn the bottom and it kind of just lines and it looks actually really, really pretty. I think it looks a lot better like that. So I'm not going to waste time cutting this perfectly. We're going to go ahead and glue it down. And then we'll tear away where we don't want the napkin to be. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So you're going to get your napkin, you're going to set it aside. Don't get anything on it. You got to kind of work a little bit faster because of the Mod Podge for this one. So I'm getting my wonderful Mod Podge. This is just the matte finish Mod Podge. My bottle's a disaster because I'm at the end of my bottle and it's well used. So I'm going to go ahead and get some Mod Podge here on my brush. I'm just using a foam brush, okay? And I'm not going to drench my tray in this. I'm not going to add like a whole ton of it, okay? I'm just going to layer it, making sure, and it dries clear, so you don't have to worry about, you know, getting it somewhere where you're going to like, oh my goodness, I'm going to see it. Nope. I'm just going to completely cover where I think that napkin is going to sit. You don't want to miss a spot, because if you miss a spot, then you're going to get air bubbles and it's just not going to look right and it's not going to be pasted down the whole way. Okay. So I kind of just get my brush. There's no rhyme or reason. I just kind of smear it all over. Now you can tell it's not like puddled on my tray or anything. You don't want it puddled. You just want to make sure there's no dry spot. Because if there is one, then you're going to have an air bubble and it's not going to be good. Alright. Okay, guys. So I think I covered it pretty well. I don't think I'm missing any spots. All right, so voila, it's all covered. If there is corners, that's easier to fix, just not the middle. All right, so I didn't really line this up. I didn't measure. I didn't, you know, go crazy with it. I'm just going to kind of put it in the middle here where I think it might look okay. And I'm just going to get my hand really easily. I'm not using a credit card. I'm not using anything like that, because if you use that, you're going to end up ripping this, especially with a napkin or tissue paper. I ripped it already, but that's okay. It's kind of what we want it to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull it gently, okay? And where it lays is where it lays. And I'm going to get my finger, and I'm just really lightly going around all these edges, smoothing it out, making sure there's no bubbles that I missed, any like glue spots. I'm just going to pat just like that, tucking it in there. All right, guys. So now that we have, doesn't look like any air bubbles or anything on there. Okay, look how pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to get my X-Acto knife. And if you wanted this real precise, if you wanted the corners to look like perfect and cut, that's up to you. You can easily do that by just using like a marker and then cutting, you know, where you need to cut. But I wanted mine to look more vintage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lean you guys down here. So I'm just going to get my X-Acto knife here while this is still wet. You don't want to do it when it's dry because it's not going to look great. And I'm just going to go in here on the corners and all around. And yes, it's tearing it, okay, more than it's cutting it. That's okay. That's what I want. All right, and I'm just going to take these extra little side pieces off, just like that. And I can kind of use my finger to, because that glue's still a little bit wet here. So I'm just scraping off any extra napkin that I don't really want on there. Okay, just like that. And then I'm just going to get my finger and kind of smooth where I just tore away. Okay, just like that. Same thing here. And if you do find a place that you kind of mess up your paint a little bit, you can always go back and kind of just touch it up a little bit. Perfect. So you're getting that torn away effect. It looks really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go the whole way around and do that. And if you find a spot that's not pressed down, press it down before you start tearing so it doesn't take it way out. There we go. So the tearing just kind of makes it blend. It looks like was actually just used. So that's why you want to do this before it dries, because if you do it but after it dries, you're just going to have a straight edge cut. Which, if that's what you're looking for, that's a good way to do it too. You can just wait until your Mod Podge dries and then have your razor blade ready to go and just cut off any extra. But of course that's not how I wanted to do it, so we're just going to do it while it's wet and tear it away a little bit, so you guys can kind of see how it's looking more kind of just like it's on there and it's been fading over the years. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it to this side, same thing. I'm not pressing very hard. Just kind of taking that away. I am going to get my finger and kind of smooth this out. This was a little bit more, there's a little bit more glue over here than on the other side. So I don't want it uneven or anything. I'm just kind of taking my finger, getting all the crumbs off of there and making it smooth. You don't want any little bumps or imperfections in there. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And And then the same with the bottom. Bottom's nice and straight and actually lined up pretty well, but I want it to match the rest of it. So I'm just going to take my knife and do that. And this is drying on me, so it's going to start cutting straight, unfortunately. And just peeling some of that off of there. Alright. Almost done. Alright. Good. One last little piece here. Try to, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to take my finger. Just go over that. You can kind of see those crumbs falling. Get those out of there. All right. So there we go. There's our new tray. And like I said, if you see little spots that you don't really like, the paint doesn't look great, you can always go back after and paint and fill in. And I kind of see it over here just a little bit. And it's actually like bubbly. I don't really like that, so I'm just going to take my sandpaper and I'm just going to kind of smooth a little bit, real lightly. Just like that. Same with the other side here. So there's my tray. Look how pretty it is. It's better than what it started out like. This is what it started out like. Bam! So they are really pretty. They're easy to make. My Mod Podge is already pretty much already dry. But I am going to clear it with polyacrylic, which I gotta wait until this dries anyway. And I don't want to technically be using that inside. I'll be using that outside just because of the baby. All right. Hi, guys. Love it. Thank you, Liz. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So far I have 3 made. I have the 2 behind me here. These are from earlier. If you're just joining us, these were the 2 that I made earlier. That one's really pretty with the napkin with the flowers and the roses on. And then this one here's probably my favorite so far. The pinkish red one with the flowers on the front. Look how pretty. A lot of napkins and old trays. I spent literally like, well, if you count the napkins, $3 on redoing these. Alright. But they all turned out pretty good. I really, really like them. Alright, guys. So that was today's project. I know it wasn't, you know, too in-depth. It was pretty easy. Oops. This one here's... I need to kind of just tear that a little bit. Hang on, guys. I got sidetracked. Get some Mod Podge on my finger real quick. I don't know what Lainey's doing downstairs, but it sounds like she's getting into something. Alright. There we go. Okay, so that was our craft for today. Woohoo, right? Oh, thank you, Anna. Yes, this one here turned out really nice. This is the first one I did, and I was like, oh, this is pretty. So I made this one second, and I was like, oh, that one's pretty too. And then I did the green one, of course, today for the video, but I was like, it's so pretty. It's really, really interesting. I'll be making a couple more of these. They're probably going to go up to, if you live in Johnstown area, they'll probably be up at Studio U. I need to take some stuff up to her. I haven't taken some stuff up to her for a while, so these might be shipped up. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you for your time. And I will see you hopefully next Saturday with another craft. We'll post something. I want to get back into doing the supply boxes and the classes, so hopefully that's coming soon also. I have some ideas for those. Alright guys, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you later. Bye!